Woman buys bedroom set, finds treasure inside. She took a deep breath and tried to steady her shaky nerves. She gripped the edge of the bed with one hand as she stuck the other further into the compartment. There was definitely something inside. What had she gotten herself mixed up in? Laurel Jex was just an ordinary woman, living an ordinary life in the quaint city of Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Always eager to help, she was the neighborhood's good Samaritan. Church fetes, school board meetings, Laurel would be there. Even after a recent store robbery, she had comforted the victims and helped paste the "Did you see this man?" notices up on the telephone poles. She and her husband had learned early on how to turn around every cent. Laurel didn't need the finer things in life. She was quite content. Sometimes, however, an emergency would crop up and money had to be spent. The couple's house and its contents had seen a good many years, and something was bound to break. But Laurel hadn't expected both the oven to cook its last meal and the bedroom furniture to crack within the same month. The new oven had already cost them dearly. Where would they find more money for a new bedroom set? Laurel and her husband didn't have spare cash to buy completely new furniture. Why not try Facebook Marketplace? A friend suggested. They would surely find a good deal there. But buying from a complete stranger? Laurel wasn't so sure. She'd heard many horror stories of people getting swindled out of their hard-earned money or not getting what they'd imagined. She had a look anyway and soon got a hit. A guy nearby was selling second-hand furniture. What did she have to lose? Immediately upon arriving at the sale, Laurel spied a beautiful bedroom set, a dresser and headboard. Her husband was convinced it was 100% wood and Amish made really good quality. The question was, would they be able to afford it? It was also clear that all the furniture pieces were selling like hotcakes. Would someone else snatch away the bedroom set they'd set their hearts on? Laurel approached the seller and took her chance. Would you consider $325? It was all the cash they'd brought along. Without blinking, the surly-looking guy said yes and grabbed the money before moving on to the next customer. Not even the guy's dour attitude could dampen Laurel's spirits. The bedroom set was theirs. What a steal. But on their way home, she couldn't help but wonder why the seller had agreed to such a low price. It was as if he just wanted to get rid of the furniture. Oh, they don't quite fit. Laurel exclaimed after her husband had tried to install the bedroom set in their room. The dresser was slightly too big for the space behind the door. But somehow she would make it work. It was indeed a beautiful piece of furniture. Laurel sat down on the edge of the bed and examined their goodbye more closely. She ran her hand along the grain of the wood and almost missed a tiny piece of metal jutting out from beneath one of the drawers. She called over her husband to feel it for himself. He seemed to think it was just a random piece of metal or part of a fixture. But Laurel wasn't convinced. She first tried pulling on it, but nothing happened. Then she depressed it and heard a faint click. A hidden compartment. She suddenly recalled how quick the guy had been to sell them the furniture. Had he known about this secret cache? She really should check inside. How could she go to sleep each night knowing there was something unknown tucked away right next to her bed? It could be anything. Could the seller have hidden stuff in there? Had he or the owners of the furniture wished to do away with something? Laurel's mind began spinning with theories. Something bad, something incriminating, something stolen, evidence with her husband looking on, he himself now equally intrigued. Laurel carefully reached inside with her hand. There. Pushed far toward the back of the space. It seemed to be some kind of bundle wrapped in paper. Laurel brought it out slowly, as if it were fragile. An old brown envelope. She held it gently with both hands and sat staring at it, dumbfounded. Well, don't just sit there, open it up, was her husband's impatient reply. She peeked inside and a few seconds later looked up at him with wide eyes. $100 bills. A lot of them. Just looking back at her from inside the envelope. She threw them all out onto the bed, eliciting a gasp from her husband. Something was nagging at the back of her mind. And then she remembered the recent store robbery. The authorities had never found the stolen loot. Could it be that they had just stumbled upon the thief's hidden stash? After counting everything, they placed the money in neat piles on the bed, a swathe of blue bills that matched the pattern on the quilt. $11,000 in total. There was no doubt in Laurel's mind about what to do next. Report their find to the local police. In the meantime, her husband had stuck his own hand into the space and rummaged around further. Lo and behold, out came another bundle. This time it was just a bunch of old bank statements. Laurel's mind wandered as she examined them, and suddenly it hit her. She had recognized the Facebook Marketplace seller. She would get to the bottom of this, she thought to herself as she logged on to Facebook again. The minute she saw the seller's profile, she knew she was right. It was him. Should she tell him what she knows? Laurel dialed the seller's number. How would she approach the call? She would just lay it all out, she decided. She calmly told him about her find in the secret compartment and that she knew it had something to do with him. She had recognized the surname on the bank statements. DePere. The same surname as that of the seller. Yes, he told Laurel, the bedroom set had belonged to his late parents. The furniture had been part of their estate sale. He had wanted to get rid of everything, to bring closure. But he hadn't been aware of their hidey hole. Would Laurel return its contents? Of course, she immediately returned all the money and the bank statements. The seller was the rightful owner, after all. His parents had worked long and hard and saved for that money. Yes, it would have been great to be $11,000 richer, but she wasn't a thief. One good turn deserves another. As a reward for her honesty, the guy gifted the Good Samaritan some of the money she had returned. How many of us would have given back such a large sum of cash?